So whenever we're hitting off the tee, I usually like to start with a pitch right down the middle, belt high. Now, when we're hitting off the tee, we want to make sure where our stride is landing and where our tee is positioned in relation to our front foot is going to make a difference in terms of what pitch we're actually attacking. All right, so for this pitch, right down the middle, belt high, I just want to make sure Coach Sullivan, by the time he's completed his stride, he's even with that baseball. All right, I want him to hit this baseball right off his front foot. Now, this is going to vary depending on how long your stride is, where you set up in the box, etc. All right, but a good rule of thumb here is just right off the bat, I want him striding to the point where, you know, if he's got a little bit short of a step, his stride, I want him landing pretty much even with this baseball. Now, if you don't have a plate, and we're fortunate to have a plate here, all right, again, it's all in relation to where this baseball is at your landing with your stride, all right? So even if I took this plate away, all right, Coach Sullivan's cue is his stride should be landing pretty much even with the baseball with his front foot, all right? Now, from there, what I like to do is I start to play around with height. We don't want to just see a belt-high fastball for a million cuts, all right? We want to be able to read and react and hit different pitches. So next few pitches, I might go a little bit more up in the zone, making sure Coach Sullivan's keeping his hands at a good height of the baseball, attacking through the baseball, good extension, all that fun stuff, and then I'll eventually move it down closer to the bottom of the zone, knee-high fastball, that sort of thing, all right? Now from there, what I usually like to do is I like to then move the tee once we've had a number of reps. Hitter feels good to go, he's loosened up. I like to move to an outside pitch. All right, now, again, the key here is where Coach Sullivan's stride foot is landing by the time he's completed his step, okay? So by the time he's completed his stride, now that we're outside, this ball should be just inside of his front foot, all right? We're seeing it, we're kind of simulating where we're seeing this ball a little bit deeper, we're letting the ball travel, and we're allowing it to get just inside that front foot. So Coach Sullivan's standing in the same position, he's gonna complete his stride. All right, as you can see, ball sitting just inside his front foot. Now, as you're hitting, what you want to make sure is you're attacking this baseball the same way, for the most part, in terms of what you're doing up the middle, all right? I'm trying to keep good hands inside the baseball. I'm still trying to work everything for the most part, middle of the cage or right in front of your net, whatever you're hitting into. I'm still trying to have everything progress more middle of the cage, middle of the field, all right? So one thing to keep in mind is if I see Coach Sullivan's hands starting to leave his body early and reaching for this baseball, all right? See how much gap and separation we have off the back shoulder in his barrel. All right, this is gonna create a longer swing. Odds are his barrel's gonna get around it. That's when you're gonna see a lot of rollovers and a lot of hooks, okay? And then once we get a few good reps, belt high, we'll do the same thing. We'll move the ball a little bit more up in the zone as well as down the zone. Now, whenever I'm doing tee work with guys, I primarily will stick middle and outside, all right? Especially this outside pitch. I don't think this gets practiced enough. And even guys that we see in here working out all the time, a large portion of people are gonna set that tee up middle of the plate, and that's the only pitch they're gonna attack, all right? Majority of pitchers, I don't care what level you're playing at, we're gonna try to beat you outer half, all right? So we have to get comfortable as a hitter, seeing that ball a little bit deeper, trusting that ball to get a little bit deeper inside our front foot, but still being able to put off a good, consistent swing towards this outside pitch. Now, we want to be careful inner half. What I see a lot of times is once we move that tee inner half, I'll see the hitter kind of overstride, and now they're trying to get their front foot even or maybe even just a little bit further ahead of the baseball, and we don't want that. We want our hands and our barrel to have a chance to actually get out front and attack this baseball. And if you overstride here off the tee, it's going to be hard to do. All right, so we want to make sure that when Coach Sullivan's striding and he's landing, he's still keeping that ball outside his front foot. We don't want it even or inside the front foot. Now, what I was talking about earlier with Coach Sullivan trying to create a similar hand and barrel path on that outside pitch, I want him to continue to do on this inside pitch, all right? So another thing I see a lot of times with guys working inner half off the tee is the barrel starts to release a little bit earlier than we want. It gets ahead of our hands, and that's when you see a lot of hooks pull side, all right? As a hitter, even off the tee, what I usually tell my guys is I still want them to try to work the back wall, all right? And that kind of forces us as a hitter to keep our hands inside the baseball and still allow our hands to lead the barrel to the baseball. I don't want my barrel getting ahead, because like I said, that's what usually causes our barrel to get on the outside part of the baseball, which we certainly don't want to be, and it causes a lot of rollovers. So like I said, when we're working off the tee, we just want to make sure we're not sitting on one pitch and one pitch only. Just by moving that tee position around and moving the position of the baseball in relation to our front foot and where we're trying to make contact with that baseball, as well as the height of the baseball, we essentially just covered 9 different pitches, 9 different zones that we'll see on any given pitch or any given at bat. All right, we want to make sure we're covering the full scope of our plate coverage and what we might see during a game.